Hello everyone, this is Flavia Mandado and today I have the pleasure to introduce Miss Mara Antunes, coordinator from Hillsborough Community College.
Thank you, Flavia. I am Mara Antunes. I am from Hillsborough Community College and I am one of the recruiters.
In this episode, we want to know a little bit more about HCC. So therefore, that's going to be our first question. Let's talk about a little bit what is HCC.
So Hillsborough Community College, or HCC, is a 2-year community college. It's usually the starting point for most students. Most students will do an AA, which we offer, or an AS, but for those students who do complete an AA, which is an Associate of Arts, it's the first step. It's a stepping stone to then take them to the university.
Okay, so I know that you have like an AA and an AS degree. So we want to know the difference of those two.
So the difference between an AA and an AS. So an AA is an Associate of Arts. I know some people sometimes confuse the AA and the AS because they're like, oh, it's an Associate of Arts, and they're like, I don't want to do anything in art. But an AA, so that first AA is to take you to the university. So that's the 2 years with us, and then you would do the 2 years at a university to get your bachelor's. And then if you decide you want to get your master's or get your doctorates, you would continue that route. And now an AS is an Associate of Science, and that's 2 years with us, and then you go and find a job. You build your skill set. You can still continue to study with an AS. You can go to university with that, but it's usually more geared to those students who want to find a job. They don't want to maybe be in school for too long, and then they want to go and build, like I said, build that skill set.
Okay, so now we know the difference between an AS and an AA. But therefore, we want to know the difference between college and university. When a high school student graduates and he wants to go to a college, what's the difference between going to a college and a university?
So when you start at a community college, it'll just be 2 years. It's essentially the same thing as starting at a university in some ways, except that a community college is always going to be smaller. So we pride ourselves in having 25 students to one professor. So you might find that maybe a little closer to when you finish your bachelor's degree at a university. But when you first begin at university, you're probably going to have classes with a larger set of students. And I know that students thrive in all kinds of environments. So if you like the smaller environment, community college might be better. But if you like the excitement of having a lot of students in one class, then a university would be a good place to start as well. But that would probably be the main differences. But it's essentially the same. Think of it as if you were to start a university, it was just that you would be 4 years at the university. If you would start at community college, you would just do 2 years with us and then 2 years at the university, which would still total up to the 4.
And it's all the same knowledge and everything.
Yes, it's the same knowledge. We still, we are accredited, so we're still going to be at the same, up to par to what a university is going to teach. Yes.
Talking about all these different programs and the difference between universities, we know that there is a dual enrollment program that it's for high school students. So let's talk a little bit about that. What is dual enrollment?
So dual enrollment is a program that we have, and it is for our high school age students, so students who are from their freshman to their senior year, and they can hit high school credits. So while they're doing the high school credits, they're also hitting their college credits. So they're receiving the college credit so that when they actually get to HCC or get to whatever university they're going to, they already have that under their belt.
Okay, we want to know also what's the perfect age to start the program?
So I don't think there's a perfect age, you could say. It is once they finish those middle school credits and they're now kind of heading on over to high school. What I would say recommended is always, because this is college, it's very different than high school. So the students have to be very motivated. There's nobody that's going to be on them besides maybe parents who are going to be reminding them that they have to turn in assignments. But they have to be very self-motivated because it is college. So it's going to be a little bit different than high school. And I know that students have to have a 3.0 GPA. And that's something that they communicate with their high school counselors. And then they also have a conversation with their parents to see if it's a good next step.
Okay, they have to be basically very responsible, but also be involcrating their parents and all of that.
Yes, because the it may be their decision as well, but obviously you have to take into account, if you're ready. So you obviously have to take into account what if your parents think it's okay, and also if the counselors think you're ready and set for it as well.
I think HCC has amazing programs. Now we want to know what are the steps to apply for these programs.
So our first step to apply to HCC is the most important one. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, which is our online application. After you complete the online application, it takes about 24 to 48 hours for the application to kind of come through, and then you'll get a welcome email. After that, most students will go ahead and register for orientation, which is just that session where you're talking to someone, you're speaking to someone, and they're kind of helping you navigate HCC and all the platforms that we have, perhaps even giving you a tour of the campus. And then the step after that would be to submit official transcripts. So your official transcripts it would either be your high school transcripts or maybe transcripts from another university, or it could be a combination of both, and sending them over to HCC. A big step too that sometimes students forget about is financial aid, or FAFSA. You want to make sure you fill out your FAFSA application, because that's really important. Depending on if you get full aid or you get partial aid, it's always good to fill out the form. And then scholarships go along with that too. Make sure that you're applying for any kind of scholarships, private scholarships if you find any, and making sure that end of it, because that's the end that's a part of it that people maybe freak out about or get scared about. So making sure that is secure. And then the last and final steps are connecting with an advisor. So connecting with someone at HCC who's going to help you pick the right classes for your career, and depending on whatever path you take. And then the last and final step would be to just register for the classes and pay for the books.
Now that we know all the steps to be a student of HCC, we want to know a little bit more about your careers.
So our programs at HCC range from health science, which are popular, especially for your generation. It's very popular. And then we also have business and technology, because those are also very popular as well. To kind of just hone in on a couple, one of them, I know business is one that's really popular right now. So we have an AS in business and an AA in business. So obviously when we went back and we talked about the A and the AS, the AA is going to take you to the university to study business and specialize there. And then the AS in business with us would be, you would take a couple of courses, a couple of what we call them as general education courses, in English, a math, a science, a history. And then after that, all of the other courses that you take will be very specific to business. And then we also have our health science programs. Those programs are also a part of our AS. They're a little bit different though than the business, the AS business. So our health science programs is what we call their limited access. What that means is that you have to take prerequisite courses. And then once you take those prerequisite courses, you have to make sure that you're maintaining a certain GPA with those courses. Try to get A's, B's, shy away from the C's. And then after you complete those courses, you then apply to the program, and then you wait for acceptance. The health science programs range from nursing to sonography. We have radiography, radiation therapy. I know those are some of the more popular programs that we have at HCC concerning health science.
So the requirements for the health program is going to be a little bit more higher than the other ones.
Yes, it'll be rigorous because you're essentially competing for a seat in the program. So that's why an advisor will tell you this. You just want to make sure that you are maintaining a good GPA in those first classes, because they're basing the GPA on just those prerequisites. And they also recommend to have plan Bs, have a plan C. So if you know that you're interested in multiple health science programs, then apply to multiple programs at the same time, so that even if you don't get into your first choice, maybe you get into one that, oh my gosh, I'm still interested in this one, and then maybe you'll get into that one.
It's very interesting but important to know all these requirements to apply to this program, because not every program requires this, and you may not know, but now you do. Does HCC has a program for adults that help them in their English?
Yes, so we have an EAP program. It's English for Academic Purposes. So for those students, so even students who are coming from high school, maybe have just gotten here in the country, or for parents as well, they can come and join our EAP program. I guess you could say the first step to just start that program would just be apply just like any normal student. And then after that, you would go and take a test. And depending on the test scores, depend on what level you would land on and where you would start in the EAP program. The EAP program is based off of 6 levels. For the first four levels, there's grammar, reading, writing, and conversation. So that's what you're probably going to start with if you land in the first 4. And then after that, 5 and 6 are just really focused on reading and writing. But it's a great program, especially for someone who feels like they want a stronger foundation in English, and it doesn't have to be necessarily for academic purposes. If you just want to feel more comfortable at your job, because maybe most of those people who you work around with are just speaking English, it's definitely going to help you in that setting as well.
Yeah, I think it's very helpful, just like for people that are just coming and want to like have a better base, like talking in English, in their English. That's really helpful.
No, yeah, I've heard great stories about our EAP program, and I think that all around, when they complete it, they feel more comfortable and they feel like they're going to be successful later on.
Before we say goodbye to Miss Antunes, we want to ask one last question, and that will be where we can go to start our process as an HCC student.
HCC is conveniently located in all around the Tampa area. So our biggest campus is on the Del Mabry. It's the Del Mabry campus. It is next to the Raymond James Stadium. That's where I am located. And then we also have our Ybor campus, which is down in Ybor City. And then we have Brandon, and that's closer out to the Brandon area, or we consider the Brandon Mall. And then we have Plant City, our Plant City campus, and that's down, going down towards Plant City, or I always say towards Disney World. And then we have our South Shore campus, which is down in the Ruskin area.
Wow, I think it's so amazing that you have so many locations, because that gives the students so many opportunities to go and find a place that they can go and have it over there. Also, we want to thank you, because we have to say goodbye, and we want to thank you for being here, sharing your knowledge with all of us, giving us this opportunity to do this interview, and also support our community, because that's a really great job. So we want to thank you so much.
Thank you as well for having me join you, and we welcome you at HCC whenever you're ready.
Thank you.